live.
Hi. I love that intro.
Thank you. Hi, Ponis. Welcome.
Hi.
I knew you'd be here, Ponis. And thank you for coming.
Yes, thanks, Bonus.
So today, I have Maria with me, and I'm with her. We both have worked with Gabriel and Beelzebub personally. And after my Angels and Demons episode we recently did with Rochelle on Gabriel and Beelzebub, I thought it'd be cool to kind of get like our point of view and our reaction also on how like media or movies portray these two entities. And then it's like our reaction to that versus reality and like our experience with them.
Yes.
So some fun stuff. Just going to give it a few minutes, see. Every time finish your yoga. Well, that's good.
Oh, perfect timing, yeah.
I still have not started it, but I want to. I keep saying that, but
One day.
One day, yes.
One day.
So, Maria, how long have you worked with Gabriel? Just curious.
Well, that's the thing. I can't even really put a number on it because I think Gabriel has somehow always been around. And I think I specifically really got the first sign like in April 2001. But I mean, for me, Gabriel, Gabriel is the archangel associated with the weekday Monday. So people that were born on a Monday are closely linked to Gabriel, which I am. Also the sign of Cancer, which I also am. And Gabriel is also working with people like writers, journalists, people who have like a message to give to others in some way, shape, or form, and like work in media and communication, which is also my job. So in that sense, he would be the perfect angel for me to work with. And I think he's always just been there, and I never really noticed who it was. But I mean, I'm wearing something white today in honor of Gabriel because white is his color. And so, I had this time when I was only interested in white clothes and I didn't really want any other colors. So I was going full white in like middle school and stuff. And even now I love white clothes, although for work I have to wear a lot of dark stuff, which is why I have a lot of black clothes now. But I still love white. It's my favorite color. And so, I think Gabriel has always kind of been linked to me. And in April 2001, I remember it was April 3rd. That was the time finals for high school were coming up, and everything just got really stressful, even though I had been studying like crazy. But like seeing all of my other friends and classmates kind of develop a plan of what they wanted to do with their life. And I was like, okay, I have no idea what I wanted to do. A year ago, I still had a plan, but then everything kind of changed. And I didn't really know how to do this on my own, how to figure it out. Family always kept asking, like, what are you going to do? What's your plan? And I didn't have an answer. And so I just finally broke down. And I was sitting in the bathtub, and like with water being my element, I was just sitting there and I started crying, and I really started to beg for help. And I thought, okay, listen, universe, whoever hears this message, please send me someone to help me, to guide me, because I don't know how to do this on my own. And then exactly a week later, on April 10th, the Mormon missionaries showed up at my place. So out of all the people, that's who he sent. And one of the guys, his name is Tyler. And when he started to say a prayer and we knelt down, he was sitting across from me. And as soon as I closed my eyes and he started to say the words, we were in this big white room. Like there was nothing but white. And so once again, white, the color.
Right.
And then I saw Tyler kneeling in front of me, like in real life. And all of a sudden, this huge energy light beam in white and very bit of light blue was like either coming out of him or coming down to him. And in that moment, I knew, okay, that's the guy. And it couldn't be more obvious. Like this was like smack in the face. Here it
Right.
is. And so I guess that was the first time that I really noticed, okay, there is someone who is showing me, guiding me, who can help me, what to do. And yeah, so the color white is also associated with like connection to like source energy or God or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, so that was like, bam, here it is. And then I worked with Tyler for about 2 months. And even though he was talking about his religion, he really helped me to, get faith in myself again and to, get back on track and kind of prepare me for what was to come. One of the hardest moments of my life, which was a couple of months later when my grandma died. And if it hadn't been for that moment, if I hadn't asked for help, if Tyler hadn't come into my life and like built me back up, that death of my grandma, that would have been it for me. I don't think I could have gone through that without having had the strength beforehand to kind of deal with that. And so that was the first time that I really remember, okay, there is someone there. I couldn't put a name to it, but I knew there was someone there.
Wow, that is so beautiful. I love that. And I kind of suspected as much because it's like after I started working with like Beelzebub and then Belial, I kind of felt like, oh, wait, I know this energy. Way back years ago in middle school, I remember this incident and I can feel that energy there. It's like when you work with these beings, whether it be angel or demon, which I suspect are the same, you can pinpoint and realize, wow, they were kind of helping me like all along, or that type of feeling. Like, is that what you're saying? Like you kind of felt as well?
Yeah. Like I remember when I was like 14 or 15, I was sitting in my room and it was like I just imagined in my mind what it would be like to have an angel there and that would just, put his wings around me and just protect me and just hold me for a moment so that I could get away from all the noise in the world and I could just be for a moment and just breathe and relax and just center myself, and then he would open up again and I could just do whatever I was supposed to do. Just give
Wow.
me that quiet moment for a minute.
Wow. That is so beautiful, Maria. So like, would you say with your Mormon friend with that light, would you say that was probably one of the first like manifestations you saw of Gabriel?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that I see angels, I don't see them as like they're depicted in pop culture, like in human
Right.
form with like the wings and stuff. I actually see them more along the lines of like what we see in the Angelarium. Wait, I have that here. So this is Gabriel depicted in the Angelarium, and like the trees down here are really small, so you
Oh,
kind of get the feeling of how big that is.
yeah.
And it's not really like a typical angel, but he is so majestic and it looks really scary, but he's not scary at
It's
all.
beautiful.
Yeah. And maybe I should also mention one thing, like for me, Gabriel is male. Like I call him he. For me, he's just one of the guys. And I mean, Gabriel is depicted in many different ways, male, female, even in pop culture. And for me, it's like he appears to me in the form that I feel most comfortable with and that I like to see him in. So Gabriel can be different for everyone working with Gabriel. So for some, it will be a woman. For some, it will be a man. That is different because for him, it's all about the message. He's the messenger. And so the message is the most important thing and not his appearance. So he will appear or she will appear in whatever feels comfortable to the person so that it's not distracting.
I love that. And yeah, I see that oftentimes with like demons too. One way they'll appear to one person may not be how they appear to another. Um, when Beelzebub first manifested with me, I was working with like lesser demonic entities. I hadn't like yet worked with any of the big guys yet. And as I'm doing my work with these little guys, kind of dipping my toes in the left-hand path, I wasn't like that experienced at the time. I was still in New York, actually. And in my kitchen, I noticed flies, but I was trying to find the source of these flies. And I couldn't find nothing, and it was driving me insane. And then one day I'm walking through my kitchen into my living room. They were kind of connected in the apartment. And I turned back because I felt like the whole energy in the whole room just shift. And at first it'll make you afraid because it's like a very powerful shift, like a powerful energy. But now I'm addicted to that feeling. Like when they show up and that shift comes, it's like, ooh, game on,
Yeah.
But I turn back into the kitchen and I see this full black cloaked materialize in front of me, figure, manifestation. And the face and the hands were like swarming black mist, almost insect-like. But the cloak was like just this black, like torn cloak. And he was so tall and he kind of hovered there and he kept doing this to me and catching me off guard. And I'm like, is this Beelzebub? Like, this has to be him. So I started researching him and talked to a few other practitioners, and they're like, yeah, take that as a sign he wants to work with you. And that was my first like experience with Beelzebub manifesting to me. And ever since then, he's always appeared in that cloaked like figure, and I'll see him off and on, or I'll see flies. Like I was telling Maria before we went live, the other night, I was very much in my feelings. And I'm laying there in bed and I look down at my hand near my phone and there's this giant fly resting there. And I look down and I go, hey, Beelzebub, just kind of kidding around. And the fly flew into my face and then flew up and disappeared. And I was like, it is him. I just felt that. So I know you mentioned like you can feel Gabriel when he's around, like his energy. And yeah. I get that as well. Like, even if they don't manifest, they're there. Like, you feel their essence once you're familiar.
Exactly. And it's such a good feeling.
It is. Oh, I love it. It's like this powerful being is looking out for me. Like, yes. So you want to like react to our photos here and talk about them. And then we can go into like what we've worked with these guys.
Yeah.
So we got some, and I will just let everybody know under fair use, this is for educational purposes. We are not meaning to infringe in any laws here. But I started my depictions with his sigil, of course. And then we have his goetic depiction, or how many other people say he manifests in many grimoires. I find that to be partly true, because of the flies. Now, this is from Sabrina. Now, this depiction of Beelzebub I find a bit comical, but I think they meant to make him a bit comical. However, not the Beelzebub I know. And then we have the depiction of him like way in the old times. Reverend Mathers in Salem during the witch trials depicted him in this way. Actually thinking that he had a lot to do with the witchcraft going on in Salem. So I thought that would be neat to show. And then here we have from the Salem TV show, Beelzebub, but he's known as the Sentinel. But later in the show, it is revealed that he is Beelzebub. And I have a little clip I wanted to show you guys because I'm not going to play much of it because this is how he materialized to me. So I'm going to play just a few seconds of this clip. And listen to how he describes him. Okay, and that's all I can play, but I will put that link in the description for anybody that wants to watch that full thing. Oh, you couldn't hear anything? I'm sorry. Maybe YouTube.
Yeah, probably
perhaps.
better.
Yeah. Well, it was sorry about that, guys. It was talking about their depiction of the Sentinel or Beelzebub to come in and assist Lucifer in the show, that he was this monster that materialized from Earth, from insects into that cloaked figure. And the reason that I wanted to share that, hope I don't get in trouble, but is because I found that to be actually a little bit more accurate, even with his personality in the show. However, I don't think you could get one over on Beelzebub like they did in the show. They kind of played him. He's a lot more cunning than that in my experience. However, the whole thing where he's like very tough love, like I'm going to show you, but also has that bit of a empathy for humanity, very much resonated with me. Now I think we have Maria's depictions. She chose for Gabriel. And here is her first one.
Yeah, this one is from the movie Legion. And on the left side, that is Michael. On the right side, facing us, that's Gabriel. And this outfit kind of goes hand in hand with the statue behind me. But from what I remember from the movie, like the roles here, the way that I see Michael and Gabriel are kind of reversed. Because here Michael is the one protecting like the humans and stuff, and Gabriel is the one who has like a job to do. But I see Gabriel a bit differently. But yeah, this was definitely a good movie. So what's the next one? Oh yeah, Tilda Swinton and Constantine. Yeah, that depiction of Gabriel to me, like in a lot of pop culture, Gabriel is depicted as kind of like a bad guy or something, which I think he's not. Like the energy that I'm getting from him is very caring and gentle, but he can also be kind of badass if he needs to be. And the way that I experience him is he will talk to the person in whichever way the person is used to. So like with Keanu Reeves in that movie Constantine, the way that Gabriel talked to him was very much the language that Constantine spoke and understood. So if Gabriel said, well, you're fucked, then yeah, Constantine could work with that and wouldn't be offended by those words. So that's how Gabriel appears to me. Like he will speak your speak, so to say. Yeah. And so I don't really see much wrong with different depictions of Gabriel. Like even if it's kind of like a bad guy, but yeah, he's multifaceted. Yeah. This one is from the show Dominion. And here we have Gabriel as like the blonde-haired female, also in the winged spirit tarot that I have. That's also kind of the depiction that I have of Gabriel here. So it's a blonde-haired woman, very much like in this show. But yeah, that might appear to some people who would like to see Gabriel like that. It's never how I've experienced Gabriel, but some people may have.
Wow. And that
also card. Gabriel is associated with the divine feminine. So yeah, that depiction kind of also makes sense. And that is my favorite depiction of Gabriel. That is from Supernatural. And that is very much the Gabriel that I experience. Like, can be serious if needed, focused on the job, but always wants to have fun. Very cheeky, loves a good joke, and he makes me laugh. Oh, hi, Zach. Welcome. And yeah, so I like okay, for everyone who hasn't watched Supernatural, spoiler alert, like Gabriel in this show, he is known as the trickster because he's like an angel witness protection program. So he's disguising as Loki. And yeah, so he will play tricks on stuff, but he's also very caring about like humanity. He doesn't want like the other gods that are shown that just want to get on with the apocalypse, you know, just get it over with. It was always the plan. Let's just do this. He's like, no, let the humans have their human experience. I mean, that's what they're here for. That's what they were created for. Let's just have a little bit of faith in them. Let them figure it out. Don't just pull the plug and, you know, get it over with. So Gabriel is very much team human. And I like that. I like that he will give us the chance to figure our own stuff out and not just be like talking down and being like, okay, you had your chance. Now that's it. No, let them figure it out. And I love that. And I love his sense of humor.
You know, something resonated with me there because in the video we did with these two, I found in research that, you know, Beelzebub's kind of Gabriel's counterpart. But my experience working with him, what you just said there, where he kind of lets you do your own thing, figure it out yourself, but also like if he sees you really need that like push. Yeah, so I love that like connection between them two.
Yeah. Yeah, and then of course Christopher Walken in The Prophecy. And also I don't see much wrong with that depiction because I mean, as much patience as Gabriel has, I can sense at some point even the most patient one would become frustrated if nothing ever changes and if we are just not learning our lessons. So I can see this in like kind of like a future version of Gabriel. And yeah, but some of this energy in this movie also appears kind of like Michael-ish to me, with like calling us monkeys and not acknowledging that, you know, we as humans, we are just not as evolved as them. So we are still kind of like toddlers. We need to learn, and yeah, we need to fall on our face a lot to learn the lesson. And yeah, patience is a virtue that goes for us and for them as well.
So well said. Go, girl.
Yeah, and that's him like in the third prophecy movie, and there he has his trumpet, like he was playing his trumpet in that movie, which he is associated with a lot of time. Like he's also in the choir of the angels that will sound the trumpet on the final day, the judgment day. So yeah, him and his trumpet. Yeah, and here we have a bunch of the angels that showed up in Supernatural, like Michael, Lucifer, Raphael, Gabriel, and all having like a different way of looking at God's plan and what needs to be done. Michael, like being the devoted son, and, you know, God has a plan. God told us what to do. We must do it, not question him. Lucifer being like, yeah, I don't really see that. I have different plans. And also there was one scene where two priests were performing an exorcism on a girl, and there was actually a demon in her. And then Lucifer showed up, and he was talking to those two priests, and they were like spritzing him with like holy water, and he was like, dude, really? Do you have to make me wet? And telling them like, yeah, you know, the Bible kind of did me wrong. That's all bad marketing and stuff. And when they wouldn't listen to him, they would just do this and they would disappear, and he would have this funny conversation with the demon. So yeah, I also enjoy Lucifer's humor quite a bit. And yeah, I can see how Lucifer and Gabriel, they did kind of see eye to eye on some things. But yeah, Lucifer was also like tired of the whole thing. Just get it over with. And yeah.
I could totally see that Lucifer doing like being like that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Lucifer and Gabriel, they have a very similar sense of humor.
Alrighty. So yeah, let me read a bit of comments and we can. Oh, yes, please like. We'll appreciate it, guys. uh, I mean, Sugar Daddy. I get this vibe from him. And then, oh, about the sound. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. I don't know. And the Tiger's Eye Abyss says Constantine was extremely underrated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do some black magicians refuse to work with angels? Well, I think it's a very individual thing. I think it depends on your perception and how you approach it. I look at it as angels and demons are the same energies. They're the same people, just separate energies. Like us, we're complex. We have a side we put on to the world, and then we have our shadow side. And I kind of feel like we're working with, in a sense, the bigger picture, like the same entity. That's my theory and how I feel about it. And others do too. But I think it's easy, like if you're a darker person, I've always been kind of dark, to be seduced by that energy. You know, it's addicting to us. I think it very much goes for preference and like the person, and maybe even zodiac stuff too.
That could be. Like for me as a Cancer, yeah, I kind of play on the safe side. And even though the dark side is very appealing and everything, but yeah, there's something in me that just kind of wants to play it safe. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't mind the demons, like I'm very interested, but there's that one step that I would have to take that I'm not ready at this point. Maybe someday I will be, but at this point, yeah, the angel energy just feels a lot more like I know this and I know how to feel it and how to recognize it. And yeah.
I get that so much, because it's opposite for me, but the same. And, you know, it very much is kind of personal and sacred. I mean, good thing we are our own boss on our path, right? So Lunar wanted to share something. Okay, so while I was drawing, I was listening to music from my favorite video from Undertale. And while listening to it, I keep getting ideas for my video game that I plan to work on. Some ideas I would never think of.
Cool.
Who are you working with? I think it's because most of the light workers are about let's heal the earth, love and light, and they get drained, while true evolution comes from dark chaos. But since lots of them don't want to learn, they'll only be on the left-hand path, not in the middle. Yes, I do agree with that as well, Ponus. Yeah. I say all the time that sometimes I feel like we have to descend as well to ascend. We have to know our own darkness as well as our light. But like I said, I think it's very kind of personal. The Tiger's Abyss, the only depiction I know of Gabriel well is in Mary L. Tarot on the 6 of Discs. Interesting.
Yeah, depictions of Gabriel are probably not that many. Like, yeah, in the winged spirit, I've got this one, and this is the High Priestess. So yeah, the blonde woman. And then of course there's this oracle deck by She Who Shall Not Be Named. And these are all very like Renaissance images, and a lot of them probably aren't even showing Gabriel. It's just a bunch of Renaissance pictures slapped on here, and like this depiction on the back. But that I think is actually Gabriel.
Yeah.
So yeah. And yeah, the one famous scene with Mary and telling Mary, you know what? Guess what? Congratulations, you're pregnant. You're going to be pregnant.
I love those depictions.
Yeah. And that's actually like with this kind of hairstyle, that's how he appeared to me in a dream. And I was like, I was thinking, why would you look like that? I mean, I got this gorgeous Fabio behind me, so I would have expected him to look like that. And or like the guy from Supernatural. kind of, but no, he had the Renaissance curls and all that. He was wearing something dark blue for some reason, and he looked very Renaissance, like the man with the typical slapped on wings, like from the Flash Gordon movie. And yeah, with his sword and everything. So that's what he appeared to me in a dream.
Sorry. Don't know if that was a sneeze or a cough, but so what's it like working with Beelzebub? Well, we can talk about that. He's like gentle giant, but also like I don't want to like disrespect him, but he can be a butt sometimes to deal with. He is very much like, I'm going to kind of watch, study you, and see where you go, and I will lend you my help, but you're going to work for it. It's like if you ask Beelzebub to help you, like, obtain a cake, what he's going to do is he's going to go get the mix, the eggs, the oil, and like all the ingredients and set that in front of you and be like, here's your cake. You know, you got to make it. You got to work with it. And I figured that out quick while working with them.
That's cool.
Yeah, some things that he can do for you though while working with him: healing, protection, transmutation, any type of like transferring work, divination, astral and dream work, death magic, combat, arts of like combat and stuff. He actually showed me how to create an astral sword and how I could protect myself in the astral world. Like after I worked with Beelzebub, it's like my whole astral experience is really kicked up. And he manifests and stays. Like a lot of demons will do this, but especially Beelzebub, even if you release them off and on, you're going to feel them manifest, appear, or you're going to feel their energy. They just kind of stick with you. He can also help with prosperity in some instances. So when I went through this change with him, and he usually comes. Now, one thing I warned people I did not know with one of my invocations with him was when you evoke him, there's 3 other entities too that appeared to me as cloaked. And it's kind of like I had to go through them to really get to him during this ritual, which I found interesting. But he taught me a lot, like astrally with my curses. He taught me to take them a bit more seriously because I had put a really bad one on an ex-friend of mine. A lot of things happened. Like it got really ugly, guys. My life was becoming nothing but chaos due to this person, and I was really hurt. But I had put this return to where they could feel what they did to me curse on them. And he took me astrally into this person's mind. And it had been probably about 2 years since I had done that curse, forgot all about it. And in the astral world, it was like this crumbled up building breaking down. And he was kind of standing like this, really big and massive in a cloak, and watching me as I was observing the dream. And I could see this person that I had put the curse on walking around very confused, a mess, like gripping their head and babbling. And I was like, wow, so he was like, just kind of be mindful. It's not that he's against things like that, of course, but just be mindful of your magic and what you are doing. And then he taught me some other things astrally and how to use like divination deeper, and also transmute myself physically and DNA wise when you work with them. So I think that's what my skin rash was all about when I started working with him, and the doctors couldn't figure out what the hell, because of course he is ruler of like pestilence and disease and stuff like that, but it's a way to transmute. But I can remember with my path working with him, there would be instances where I'm going, hello, like Beelzebub, what do I do here? And nothing, no answer. But then when I like had it and like really was completely lost, like what the hell, he'd show up and just kind of be like, smart one. Right here's your answer. Like, how'd you not see it? And very much that attitude. And I'm like, okay, I see you. So yeah, that's kind of my experience with him. And like I said, tough love, but he does have heart for humanity and a bit gentle. But also I can see where there's extremes in other areas of work you would do with him.
Have you experienced like for me with Gabriel, like I'm with him like bathing in his light and stuff like that. I feel very drawn to other people's shadows, like me being the one staying in the light and like bringing the light into someone else's life, maybe cheering them up or coming into their life at a difficult point in their lives. And then like I'm very drawn to other people's shadows. Do you have like the opposite?
Where I'm drawn to the light of the person? Yes. Yes. I was actually talking to Rochelle about this and yesterday, because I'm like, it's odd because what TV show was I watching? They were talking about, it was True Blood. And Bill was telling Sookie, you know, I am darkness. I deal with like death and stuff. So your light attracts me. And because you're light, you're attracted to my darkness. And it hit me because I'm like, that's true, because I feel like in a way I'm part of a fragment of personification of darkness. And that could have a lot to do with my zodiac too. I've got so much Scorpio and it's crazy, but I feel like, yeah, there's something to that. And I don't know what, but there's something to that. And maybe it's the whole yin and yang thing, or like the duality thing, or the completion of the work. Like, I love that you thought of that and brought that up. Like, that's so interesting to me. And hello, Tiny Trinkets. Welcome. Strength Reversed. Hello. Been a while.
Hi,
How
everyone. Are you? Do you also have like synchronicities? Like for me, with Gabriel, something that I've noticed, his name will come up. So, for example, my bestie, one of his middle names is Gabriel. And recently, when I was staying home for 5 weeks, because I just had to get away from the world with everything that's going on. And in that time, I discovered a comedian that has been around for quite a while, but I just recently discovered him. His name is Gabriel Iglesias, known as Fluffy. And oh my God, he cracks me up. That's my kind of Gabriel humor. And so, yeah, the name Gabriel appears every once in a while. So that's how I know he makes himself known. Do you have that too?
Yeah, definitely. All the time. It usually comes though in forms of if I'm working on something, or if I'm not doing work, usually is when that'll happen for me, when it's like I won't even be asking, but I'm being lazy in my spiritual practice, and they're like, thought you were going to do this. Like, so they're sending me synchronicities like in that way, like, hello, you gonna do something? Like, yeah. Can you form weapons with your energy in astral? Yes, you can. In the astral plane, once you're lucid and become aware in there, you can manifest. I have a whole temple that when I meditate, I go to that like astral temple in my head, and when I sleep, and you can manifest almost anything in the astral realm. So definitely. Oh yes, I think our world would be a better place if we could all see each other's lights. Oh yeah.
Not just the light, also the shadow. Because a shadow is the part of a person that you need to see in order to know them. The light is whatever we want other people to see, and the shadow is who we really are. And I think, I don't know who, I think it was in a psychology video that I watched, like if you, like we each have two versions of ourselves. And if you imagine like a cliff, if you're standing on the top of it, that's what everyone else gets to see, and that's your light. But the real you is down here. That's the shadow. And that's what people need to see. And only the people that are really interested in you, they will find that. And that's when we open up. And that's the most beautiful relationship that you can have, whether it's with friends, family, lovers. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. And I find that so true. And that's how I view these entities. It's like, okay, you have a light side, you have a shadow side. I don't believe you're this Christian, like entity out to kill me and stuff. No, but yeah, gosh, that was so well said, Maria. And very much goes along the lines of unconditional love. If we can see those flaws and those
Yeah.
shadows in others and accept that for who they are, like that's ultimate liberation and ultimate unity.
Yeah. And also, I think a lot of times, like with relationships, people always try to change other people according to like their own demons, shadows, whatever, and they feel that the person they want to be with has to fulfill certain expectations. But I think the real beauty is if you can see someone's shadow and just take that and not change a single thing. Because why would you fall in love with someone if you want to change them completely?
Right. Oh, completely agreed. And yeah, Nick, I've heard of that working with different entities. Like I had said with Beelzebub, from head to toe, never had my psoriasis broke out like that and was weeping. And they even tested it. They're like, we have no clue what's causing this. I know I dyed my hair and it aggravated it, but it's like when I started with Beelzebub, like head to toe, and it like amped up. But they can also heal. There are ways of healing that, perhaps.
Yeah, Amy, I haven't seen that full show yet. I've just watched all of the clips that he has on his YouTube channel. And yeah, my neighbors can tell you how much I like them. He just cracks me up. I love Fluffy.
I don't know if I've seen that. The amount of battles and animes I watched, I think negative entities don't stand a chance against me. But yeah, I'll protect myself first before going astral.
Yeah, protection is always good.
Oh, yeah, always. Working with Gabriel younger, 19 to 20, I noticed I would often believe I am he himself until he would quickly remove himself from me. Then I'd be like, oh, actually, I'm just me. And it would repeat again. I get that with my entities. Do you ever feel that? Like you kind of merge, or they say it happens in invocations, you're invoking them into you in a sense. And one thing that I notice is it's kind of like, if you think about it in a program type of way, when you make contact with these beings, you are essentially downloading a piece of their consciousness into you and yours into them, creating that link between you and the spirit. And I think that's why we get the instances like this. In my opinion, do you feel that way? Like, have you ever felt Gabriel like was in you?
Well, I feel the energy. Like, in that sense, it would only be like energy projected into me, but not his entire being. I think that would be way too much to feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a little bit where he lets me know, okay, I'm there. And I have different feelings depending on what's going on. Like if I'm in a really good mood, if I'm laughing and stuff and cracking jokes with him sometimes, or I would feel something funny coming in, then that is like a very soft chill up and down my spine. If I'm all up in my feels and very emotional and he's like giving me that hug, my back will get really, really warm, and sometimes also like my shoulders or the heart area. So there are different ways that I feel depending on what's going on, which is like a different way for him to say, okay, now I'm doing this, now I'm doing that. So that's our way of communicating. And it's different. Like with Gabriel, I will feel him on each side the same. And with other spirits, for example, with my grandma, when she's coming in, I will only feel her on my left side. So I can even see a distinction there. Like a spirit will only reach part of me, whereas Gabriel can reach all of me.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I love that. Love it. Rochelle says, I think we could all be less judgmental. So if we only see the light, the shadow is something we're all working through in our 3D existence. Yes. Very true. When he comes back within me, anyone else deal with this? Yeah. I would just set up if it makes you uncomfortable. Sometimes they can do that for other workings as well, in your benefit. But also I can see how that would become an issue. But have you ever like done an invocation or invited that spirit into you, Nick? And Lunar says, I have a lot of dandruff, quite a lot. Doctors gave me some stuff to try out, nothing worked. I also took some vitamins, nothing helped. What could it be? Hmm. I mean, a lot of people get dandruff and stuff, and it is very difficult, to deal with. Maybe it is, if you can go to a dermatologist, maybe it's psoriasis. Because I mean, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but.
Or sometimes it can also be hormonal.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm sorry you guys are dealing with things, Love to hear different things people feel when they are tapping in. Yes. I mean, it's so interesting. I looked up Beelzebub. I found a picture of him that looks quite the same as the sleep paralysis demon I saw back years ago. Ooh. Interesting. Very. I don't think I've ever dealt with sleep paralysis with him. Yeah.
I've never had that.
A lot of people want to deny their shadow, right? One thing I loved about Luciferianism and applying like the 11 points of power that Michael Ford talks about, and it truly does liberate you when you can learn to like just love those parts of you you detested and acknowledge they're there. That is like ultimate freedom, ultimate liberation. And that was something that was appealing to me, like about the darker side, the left-hand side is, oh, I can be sinful and love it because I secretly do, but I don't want to show the world that,
Yeah, but I think that's like this indoctrination that we've had over hundreds of years from the church telling us what's what, this is good, this is bad, you should never do this or else. And, just putting that fear into our heads. And I think it's really only through working with them that you will discover that it's nothing like what they sold us. Because that's all one marketing department that did this. And like the way that we experience it, like, first of all, for everyone, it can be different. And so we shouldn't be afraid of that because fear can just kill so much of that experience. And the important thing is just to, protect yourself and then see what happens.
So well said, Maria. And I completely agree with that. Because I remember the first time I had actually, because Beelzebub was the first, but the first time I went to work with Lucifer and I did a ritual of evocation with him, I was like dumbfounded. Like, this is who they say is like so evil. To me, he's beautiful, a beautiful, dark hint of like deceit there, but fun and games. You know what I mean? Very seductive.
Just like him.
Yeah, I'm like, what? This is the like infamous guy that? No, I love him.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely agree that people should be working on their own shadow. Oh, sorry. Comments are flying. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying, but I also think we focus more on negative when we are looking at it in our shadows rather than light or true divine light. I can see that. Yeah.
I mean, as tarot readers, most of us do shadow work anyway. And for me, that I do that from a very psychological approach to get to know myself better. Or if someone else comes to me and wants to know their shadow side, then yeah, it is to get to know yourself better. And I think that's what angels and demons alike will do to us. They will hold up the mirror to us. And that's, first of all, that's what I experienced with Gabriel. He will be whatever I am in that moment. And so if I'm in a good mood, he's going to be in a good mood with me. If I'm like really down, like he can match that energy, but he can also be what I need in that moment. But he will also call me out. Like he will be like, girl. So yeah, it's like they're holding up the mirror, both of them, angels and demons alike.
So true. Oh my God, yes, girl. Because I tell people all the time, working with these entities is like shadow work accelerated. like 2.0, 5.0. Yeah, they'll tell you about yourself. And that's something that's hard to, especially Clonic. He's such a great entity to work with. I know we're talking about these guys, but it just reminds me of him. But he is so brutally blunt and will like look at you, study you, and be like, "Oh, you're, you know." So it's very funny.
Like one tarot card that I was always like, nah, I don't want to get this card in reading was always the Three of Swords. Like the heartbreak card, and like I never liked that card coming up. But it was at the beginning of the year that Amy from Strength Reversed, she drew that card in the gratitude challenge and was like, what's to be grateful about the Three of Swords? And then this guy here was like, well, be glad you can feel anything at all. Imagine you didn't have any of the feelings and you were completely numb. So even that's a way that he will talk to me and kind of put things in perspective. Like, yeah, Three of Swords, I am glad that I get to have these feelings. And even if they're like heartbreak and whatever, but that's what makes me feel human. That's the human experience. That's why I'm here. Right.
So Nick, this comment actually resonates with me now. I just started with Azazel. So he says, any thoughts on reptilian genes in our body after working with certain entities, more so demons? I often see the DNA symbol lighting up and changing after working strongly with a demon like Azazel. I completely agree. And I'm just coming to terms with like what they actually may be or are, and very much reptilian Anunnaki from my own research, and of course the Jinn. And I do see that these entities do transform you. They are very alchemical, especially Azazel. I did a few videos about that topic recently. But yes, definitely. He was even depicted in the Book of Enoch as a reptile humanoid with 6 wings. And I find it, in my experience, to be true. And they do change us, like, very much, our DNA and physically and spiritually.
Yeah, I think one easy way to see that is what we were talking about in our round table before when we talked about palmistry. Like, if you look at the lines on your hand and like maybe even take a picture, like draw on all the lines, take a picture, and then if you do some shadow work, some rituals or whatever, after that, a while later, like a month or 2 later, look at your hands, you will see that some lines will have changed. And so if the lines on your hand can change, what else can change in your body?
Oh, yeah.
Nothing is set in stone.
Exactly.
Not even us.
Exactly, yes. Excuse me, sorry, I'm going hoarse for some reason.
Speak your truth.
Ozark Oracle, hello and welcome.
Hi, Donna.
Oh. The best thing is that most of us, if not all, are doing shadow work without knowing it. Yes, that started last year. It's like collectively mass, like shadow work.
Yeah, I think 2020 was a massive shadow year for everyone.
Oh, yeah. It's like whether
look in
you
the
like
mirror.
it.
This is you. Yeah.
Yep, whether you like it or not. Bam.
Here it is.
Tarot readers, we should be doing shadow work. If not, then one is missing a huge component of the work.
Yeah. That's just living in denial.
Growth and learning, right? Yeah. Beautifully said. Being numb is horrible. I agree. I used to feel the same way about Three of Swords until I heard Natalia from Ouroboros talk about it on her channel. It opened my mind to its layers. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think there is a single card in the deck that we actually need to be afraid of. And I found this so funny when, she who shall not be named, like the one from this deck, when she converted and then talked about her experiences that she had first as a tarot reader. And she said in her first deck, she took out the Tower, she took out the Devil, she took out all the cards that she thought were bad or scaring her. And I'm like, okay, if you take out all these cards, how is that reading tarot? someone is not confronting her shadow.
I do agree with all of that as far as us each trying to look for our own shadows to grow from them, just not always looking to see the shadows in others. When I see someone saying to another, you need to do shadow work, you show how much you still have to do, in my opinion. Very true. None of us can point a finger because we will have 3 to 100 pointing back at us. Yep. I am you, you are me, and we all have these complex qualities. So none of us have a right to be like, you know, you need to, you know. So I do agree with that.
And we all have different experiences, like growing up, different people around us. So yeah. We're all different.
Says, she's not saying any of us are doing that, but she sees it in the community. Yeah, I do agree with that. I do.
Yeah, this community needs some shadow work sometimes.
Oh gosh, yes. And do you see how
we're in Mercury retrograde? That's the best time to do it. Just saying.
Man, like Maria said yesterday, Mercury been up in my business.
It will do that.
So do you have anything else you want to say about Gabriel or anything before we end? And do you guys have any questions before we go?
No, I think we pretty much covered like our experiences pretty well.
That was great. And thank you for doing this with me. Like, it's so fascinating. And I love hearing others' experience.
Yeah, for me too. Like, I've never worked with a demon, not that I know of. And so, yeah, I'm really interested in that. And I think it really is two sides of the same coin. And eventually I want to turn the coin around and see what's on the other side. So, yeah.
Love that. Well, thank you so much, Maria. And thank you guys for being here. Love you guys. And I hope you found this enjoyable and fascinating. Don't forget to sub. You know, go show Maria some love. Show me a little love, you know, if you're not yet. And if you are, thank you so much.
Yeah. Cortney's channel is in my channel description, so you can find her and subscribe to her.
Thank you. And I will have yours in there too. I always do them after. Don't know why. I need to stop procrastinating.
Well, thanks everyone for being here.
Thank you.